In this video we're going to have a look at the small city of Invercargill, New Zealand, at the southernmost tip of the South Island, Invercargill. Never heard of it before, but I stumbled across it. Found some interesting buildings to share. And found a website, New Zealand History Government website, with a brief synopsis of the town. I'll read it out for you. Invercargill is New Zealand's southernmost city. Mostly flat, Invercargill stretches over an open plain beside the Waihopai River estuary. John Turnbull Thompson, chief surveyor for the Otago province, selected the site for the new town and laid out the streets in 1856. So there's a start date, a hard start date. You don't always see a hard start date like this. There was a gold rush in the general area. And we have a population increase coming after the 1870s. Now I couldn't find a historical chronology of the population of this city. Currently it sits around 50,000. I did see a little blurb on the Wikipedia write-up, which I won't share in this video, that it was somewhere around 2,500 right around this time period, or right before this time period. They also mention here a heavy Presbyterian influence, no drinking law in effect until World War II, and it actually didn't acquire city status until 1930. So let's have a look at this small city on the southernmost tip of the world, really. And most of the pictures I dig up are over 100 years old, usually around the turn of the century. So remember the population demographics there for this city at that time. This is the inside of the Regent Theatre. I could find nothing on the exterior. It has been torn down. I found two pictures. This is another one from the inside of the Regent's Theatre. No longer in existence. So very small city, quite a nice theatre. We get now a taste of the street scenes in Invercargill. We have the center of the street monuments, which seem to be prominent in the area. The city of Dunedin, not far away, having similar monuments. But get a sense now for that familiarity that we see in a lot of other videos I make during the horse and buggy era. And we're looking at a familiar architectural style. Let's quickly go back here. I also would like to highlight these poles with the multiple, I don't know what they are, bulbs, white things. Not seeing any wires attached to this one either, but these are popping up all over the place in a lot of my old world pictures that I've found. I definitely encourage you to keep an eye out for those types of things. We also seeing the gates across the ridges of the roofs along the top here with the poles, the flagless poles, right? So a lot of familiarity here. This statue work going on. So already in my mind, I have to buy the story that this was a town of, I don't know, at that time I'm going to take a guess, 10, 20,000 tops, if that. And this was the type of work that was going on in the town as far as construction goes. Again, remember where this place is located as well. So you're looking at these built-out street scenes, built-out streets. You have the streetcars fully intact, obviously. Yes, I know you sense the doubt in my voice. And I could be completely wrong. Maybe there's some sort of miracle of architecture and construction going on at this period of time in history, and I'm way out in left field. Certainly possible. But I have doubts, so I'm just sharing my doubts with you. I do know if we tried to build something like this in the town I live in, a town of about 90,000 people, in 2022, it would be very difficult to get the skill and the money to build something with that type of curb appeal. I know it's not something we focus on these days, curb appeal, so I'll just wham bam, get it up and move in. So there's a different, at the very least we're looking at a different philosophy, different value system. This is the water tower. It still stands. Again, remember the size of this place. And if you picture this being built, having to scaffold all the way around it. A lot of wood, right? A lot of wood would be needed just to construct these buildings. And that goes for pretty much everything you see. A lot of materials, a lot of cast concrete, brick, stone. Right here again we see these guys. There's the statue again. So these are just things to consider. I'm not trying to sway your opinion. Well, maybe I am a little bit. I am encouraging people to consider the possibility that we have been lied to on a grand scale, historically. This feeling like somewhere in Europe, really, isn't it? Not at the southernmost tip of New Zealand. Here we have a date, 1881 in the beginning. Okay, this is a school, 1881. Have a look at the construction here for 1881. Right? Did you really need the cupola on top and the dome and the lookout windows? I'm assuming that's what those are. So I don't know. The architecture doesn't fit the purpose as far as I see it. Another school. I suspect also a school, though I don't know for sure. Brickwork very tight here too. Brickwork, blockwork woven in together. And we have a couple churches. Remember the Presbyterian influence in the write-up. But an impressive tower there nonetheless, and windows. Another very steep peak. A lot of churches all over the place that we've been turning the blind eye to, just like everything else with the church. But we turn the blind eye to the architecture with the assumption that the church is almighty and powerful and has no problem creating these things all over. So I'm casting doubt on it. This is a basilica. Couldn't find many pictures of it, old pictures of it. This is, they're saying, built in 1905. I don't know if they're trying to tell us that this is the construction photo, or if this is some sort of renovation, restoration, or if this is just some lines made to look like sticks drawn around it. Don't know. That looks like a pretty flimsy scaffold, though. The Albion Hotel. I think we saw this in a previous photo. You get again the sense of age, right? Also the sense of how well established these appear to be. As far as our historical narrative says, all of this technology was just spreading across the world during this time period. So this looking like it's been there for a while, serving its purpose. And a final black and white of the basilica. So I hope you enjoyed this little peek at Invercargill, New Zealand. I find it interesting to see such a well built out small town city at the southernmost tip of New Zealand. Makes me wonder, and with a lot of my other research, really makes me wonder about that area of the world and what may have been. I thank you for joining me in this video. Please like, share, and subscribe.